Hey guys, my name is Alan Zirkle with Mr. Z's Music Lessons, and today I'm going to be doing a lead guitar lesson over So Will I, 100 Billion Times by Hillsong United. In the description of the video, there's a link to the chord chart and also the original song, and there's also a link to a lead guitar cover of me playing this song if you want to just be able to hear the whole thing all the way through. So let's just jump into the lesson. So we'll start with the intro. And the intro of this song is only 3 chords. We're going to be playing D, F sharp minor, and E. And the majority of this song is finger picked, so instead of using a guitar pick, we'll be picking with our fingers. So let me just kind of run through the shapes that we'll play for each chord. So for the D chord, we're going to play our first finger on the 5th fret of the A string. And then I use my pinky on the 7th fret of the B string. And we're only playing those 2 strings. With your right hand, we'll pick the A string with the thumb. And then I like to pick the B string with my middle finger. Alright, so that's our D chord shape. Then for F sharp minor, we're going to be playing the 9th fret of the A string and the 10th fret of the B string, using the same fingers in the right hand. And then for the E chord, we're going to play the 7th fret of the A string and the 9th fret of the B string. And we're going to be playing 8th notes. We'll play 2 measures of D, 1 measure of F sharp minor, and 1 measure of E. So just let me play through that intro. I'm just going to play it one time, but you'll play it twice when you're playing along with the song. Play that one more time, and that's all you need for the intro. So now I'm going to show you guys how to play verse 1. We start out just playing the same thing that we played on the intro, and we'll play that 3 times, that D, F sharp minor, and E. And then the 4th time the progression is going to change to D, A over C sharp, and then E. So let me show you how to play that, the D, A over C sharp, and then E progression. So for the E chord, we're going to play the same thing, that 5 and 7, still playing 8th notes for 2 measures. Then the A over C sharp chord, we're going to play the 4th fret of the A string with the first finger, and then the 5th fret of the B string with the pinky. And it's still playing 8th notes. We'll do that for 1 measure. And then for the E chord, we're going to come up to the 7th fret of the A string and the 9th fret of the B string. So let me play the whole first verse for you so you get an idea of how that all works together. That's it for the first verse, and the second verse is the same thing, so you just repeat that again for the second verse. Let's talk about how to play chorus 1. We're still going to be playing 8th notes through most of this, so just assume it's 8th notes unless I say something different. So for the A chord, you can bar across if you want, just like you would normally play an A, barred across the 2nd fret of the D, G, B, and E strings. And we're going to play open A with our right hand thumb, and then we'll pluck the 2nd fret of the B string. This is for the A chord. Then the F sharp minor chord, I use my thumb to play the 2nd fret of the low E string, and then still picking the 2nd fret of the B string. Then for the E chord, we're playing the open E string, and then the 4th fret of the G string. Then the A over C sharp, we're back to like how we played this chord earlier on, and then the D chord back to 5 and 7, F sharp minor back to 9 and 10, and then the D chord is back to 5 and 7. So let me play through that once, in rhythm and everything. progression 2 times, and then after that, we're going to play these chords a little differently. The next A chord, this is where you hear in the recording, you just kind of hear the chords ring out. We're going to play the same notes, but we're going to pluck them at the same time instead of separately. And these aren't eighth notes at this point. So we're playing the open A string and the second fret of the B string, plucked at the same time for the A chord. And then for the F sharp minor chord, we're barring across the second fret of all the strings. And then our third finger will play the fourth fret of the A string. And our fourth finger will play the fourth fret of the D string. And we're going to strum this with our right hand thumb. Just all the strings. And then for the E chord, we're just playing a normal E chord. First fret of the G string, second fret of the A string, and then the second fret of the D string. And we're going to strum all these again at the same time. Then the A over C sharp, we're back to the same shape we played earlier, but plucked at the same time. So let me play this part just where the chords ring out for you. That's it for chorus 1, and that will lead you into the second verse. So chorus 2 starts out the same as the first chorus, like we play through that first progression 2 times, and then the ending is a little bit different. So whenever we get to the end of this second chorus, we're going to play still the same chords, but just picked a little bit differently. So the A chord, we're going to still bar our first finger across, and then our right hand picking pattern, we're going to pick the A string, then the G string, back to the A string, then the B string, back to the A string, and then the G string. And then for the F sharp minor chord, we'll use our thumb again here. We're going to pick the E string, the G string, the E string, the B string, string, then the G string. Then this E chord, we're going to play differently than we did earlier. We'll bar our first finger across the second fret of the D, G, and B strings, and it's okay if you bar it across the E string too. And then our pinky, or at least I use my pinky, to play the fourth fret of the G string. So that's our chord shape. And then we'll pick this, we'll pick the D string with the right hand thumb, and then the G string, back to the D string, then the B string, then the D string, and the G string. So that's for the E chord. And then the A over C sharp, we're going to play the fourth fret of the A string, and then we can leave this bar across like we had on the E chord. And then, so yeah, we'll play the A string, then the G string, then the A string, then the B string, then the A string again, and the G string. So let me play just the ending of this chorus for you, starting with the A chord. So remember, for that second chorus, it's the same as the first chorus for 2 times through, and then you play that progression that I just played. So let's go over the bridge. This part's really repetitive, so hopefully it won't take too long to explain. For the D chord, we're going to be barring our first finger across the G, B, and E strings on the second fret, and our picking pattern in the right hand will play the D string, the G string, back to the D string, then the B string, the D string, then the G string. And we'll play that for 2 measures, so 2 times. And then the F sharp minor chord, we're back to that thumb down here again, and we'll play the E string, the G string, the E string, the B string, the E string, and then the G string. Do that 1 time for 1 measure. And then the E chord, we're back to the same shape we played earlier. First finger barred across the D, G, B, and E strings, and then the pinky on the 4th fret of the D string, and we're playing the D string, G string, the D string, the B string, the D string, and G string. So let me play this progression for you. You'll play this 6 times when you're playing it with the recording. Then later on in the bridge, whenever everything really starts to build, we're going to play some different chord shapes. We're going to play thirds. So let me show you how to do that. For the D chord, we're going to play the 4th fret of the D string, and then the 5th fret of the A string. We're going to pluck these at the same time. You could either strum these with your thumb if you want. The way I play is I pluck the A string with my thumb, and then I go ahead and pluck the D string with my pointer finger. And then we'll play quarter notes there for 2 measures. The F sharp minor chord, we'll play the 7th fret of the D string and the 9th fret of the A string, plucked at the same time for 1 measure. And then the E chord, we're playing the 6th fret of the D string with the 1st finger and the 7th fret of the A string, and we're going to pluck these at the same time for 1 measure. Alright, and that progression you're going to play this 6 times, but let me just play it once for you with these thirds. And that's all you need for the bridge. And let's go over chorus 3. And I should also mention that on the 3rd verse that it's just the acoustic guitar for a little bit, so you really don't have to worry about playing anything there. For the 3rd chorus, it starts out exactly the same as the 2nd chorus, where you play this pattern again, that picking pattern. So you do that once all the way through, and then at the end of this progression where we have D, F sharp minor, and back to D, this part's going to be different. So for our D chord, we're going to play the 5th fret of the A string, then the 7th fret of the D string, and I use my pinky down here on the 7th fret of the B string, and that's our shape. And then our picking pattern is a little bit harder here. We're going to play the A string, the D string, the A string, B string, A string, and then D string. And we're going to do that for 2 measures. Then the F sharp minor chord, I would keep your 1st and 3rd finger down and just kind of slide them up all the way to the 9th and 11th frets. And then the middle finger can play the 10th fret of the B string. And we're going to play the same picking pattern. So we'll play A string, D string, A string, B string, A string, and D string. We'll do that for 1 measure. Then we'll come back to this D chord down here and play the same pattern we did earlier. So let me play this whole 3rd chorus for you. You'll play this progression 2 times. I'm just going to play it once through. Play that same thing one more time, and that'll get you through chorus 3. In chorus 3, there's also this pretty cool lead riff that you can play, and on this part I'd probably go ahead and use a pick for this, and you might just put on like a light overdrive just to kind of make your guitar stand out in the mix just a little bit. And for this part, instead of going through it and really kind of talking about each note, I'm just going to play it really slowly, and there'll be tabs on the screen that you guys can follow along with. So you might just kind of watch my fingers, play through it a few times, and should be able to figure it out with that. Alright, so I'll just play it real slowly here. So that's it for this lesson. Let me know if you guys have any questions or comments in the comment section of the video, and I'll see you guys soon.